Before I actually get started with this video, I have to give a shout out to two people in particular. I have to give a shout out to Grinch because I'm using something that he uses on his platform a lot, and he actually talks about it in pretty much every video that he posts. And I also have to give a shout out to Harvey Superboy, well, now known as Your World on YouTube, because he kind of touches on it a little bit as well. And the topic I'm going to talk about is how the world fears and hates a thinking foundational black man. And it's a topic I feel that I should have been spoken on, but I think after hearing Grinch talk about it pretty much on a repetitive basis, which is pretty much almost every day, I said, you know what, I think it's high time I finally throw my 2 cents into the matter. Now, when you think of something or someone, when you think of a thinking black man, you're thinking of someone who thinks outside of the box, someone who thinks logically, someone who has all their ducks in a row, someone who is able to construct things without jumping in all the way, without critically thinking, someone who always goes based off of emotions. Not to toot my own horn, but I would actually classify myself as a thinking black man. I always like to assess things and put things in a certain order before I actually put them out there for the world consumption. Yes, I know sometimes I may miss some things on topics that I may speak about, but thankfully I have some very loyal subscribers who are actually able to help me out with that if there's something that I might have missed. But I like to say that it goes way beyond just commentaries that I do on YouTube. My mindset is way different than some of my peers, especially in my generation or even a generation below me. And to be honest, even those who are older than me as well. And one of the things that I like to talk about that some people in generations above me don't like to touch on, whether it's out of fear or because they don't know, is stuff that's going on in this political climate. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I dive completely head first into politics or anything like that. I'm almost, I guess you can say, as a surface level type of person. I didn't major in political science or anything like that, but I know how to read between the lines, and it's mainly because I've been listening to other thinking black men, such as the two that I already mentioned. Of course, I always highlight Professor Black Truth. I always mention the Black Authority, you know, people like that, those who think critically and those who go in between the lines and don't just stay and dwell upon the surface. Now, I said that sometimes I don't go below the surface when it comes to politics, but when it comes to other things, I like to really dig and investigate things. Why do you think when I do a lot of my commentaries, I always give y'all updates on certain things? Because I want to get to the bottom of it. I don't want to just stop at one point and then just leave it alone after the fact. I always believe that there's always more to the story. Like sometimes that whatever lamestream media in particular likes to put out there, there's more to it out there than what they present to us. And I know that it is. That's why a lot of people, and not to toot my own horn, flock to my channel, because they know that I'm going to give them the real information. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to dance around various topics. And sometimes it actually, you know, kind of warms my heart when I hear people say that I'm like the black version of CNN. Not that I want to be compared to them, because, you know, CNN, it's a little shaky with them at times. Actually, a lot of times, to be quite honest. But, you know, as a matter of fact, I just did a commentary talking about, you know, how CNN came out and said that they're going to, that these candidates are going to Essence Festival to campaign to the black people down there, especially the black women, because that's who the biggest market group is. And I said that know that you're being used. They're trying to trick you into doing something, and they're not offering you anything in particular, no kind of tangibles or anything like that. That's somebody who is on the level of thinking. Now, if I was non-thinking, I would be the one that's saying, oh, I'm so glad they're going there. Maybe they can sway people to vote for them and this, that, and the third. I would probably be like a staunch Democrat supporter. At that point, you're no longer thinking. You're just going with the flow. Like when you have people that are emotional, like thinkers, and you want to use politics, they are the ones that says, well, we need to get somebody in there now because Trump got to get it off. We got to get Trump out of office. That's someone who's not thinking, because you can replace Trump with anybody and they could be just as bad. I mean, look at all the presidents that we have had before us. None of them have done really anything specific for foundational Black Americans ever specifically. And if they did try, let's just say it was a shred of hope that they did try, it never went through. It always fell through or something happened. And then whatever could have been for us, it ended up going to somebody else. And then they just kind of went along as, you know, business as usual. So when you're like, when you think of people who hate foundational Black men who are thinking, I use an example like what Harvey says. Whenever there is something going on, they never come to the areas where we are at and ask us our opinion on certain topics or specific situations, even when it is involving us. Like there could be a police shooting involving an unarmed Black man, and they will never come to us and ask us how we're feeling about that or what we believe to have happened. They will dance around and they'll go to other places or to people that are probably not even in the area and ask them what their take is on it. And they probably are so oblivious to what's going on. They know what they're doing. They know not to come to anybody who can put the pieces of the puzzle together. And that's a threat to them. Like they couldn't put someone like myself on any of these lamestream platforms like CNN or MSNBC, because I will be the one to literally have my mic cut the minute I open up my mouth. If they was to look at any of the commentaries that I have done on my channel, whether it was on this channel or my original channel, they would never invite me on there. That's why it actually shocked a lot of people. Well, maybe not a lot of people, but when Tariq was on, I forgot what it was on, when he was debating on Fox News, who was that? Sean Hannity, or as I call him, Sean Clanity. And you know, things like that. Because if you follow him on Twitter, them palm colored over there, they hate him. They hate him with a passion because he puts their stuff on blast all the time, whether it's something in the mainstream or even something completely low level that will never touch a lamestream market. And they hate that. It's almost like, how dare you actually have an opinion? I can use it even with the Colin Kaepernick situation with that Betsy Ross flag on that shoe. He came out and he said, look, that's offensive. It shouldn't be on there. And people were so upset about that. Like, how dare this Negro who we felt that, you know, he was a weak football player, even though he wasn't. And, you know, how dare he have an opinion? That's one thing that they hate. They hate Black men who have an opinion, and a very strong, level-headed opinion, one that actually can make some sense, to the point where if you repackage it, it could almost be turned into factual information. They hate that with a passion. That's why they always try to go to others to try to get their take on it, because they know that they are going to give an opinion that lines up with theirs. I thought an opinion was something that was solely based on what you believe, not what everyone else believes. Now, y'all can meet up somewhere in the middle and your beliefs could actually meet somewhere where y'all might have something in common, but opinions usually are supposed to be set where it's your own assessment of a situation, not always lining up with everyone else, because then you go into what you call a hive mindset or a sheep mindset, where one person believes, everybody else has to believe it as well. And that's just not how the world works, but that's how they would wish the world would be. Why do you think that whenever we talk about certain things, if it relates to race relations, anything like that, if we say something, then you'll have palm colored and some of their co-colonizing cohorts come out and say that it's wrong or is this and is that? It's that hive mindset. How dare you leave the pack and say this and have your own mindset and your own opinion, and how dare you not agree with us? Like I said, the thinking Black man, or the thinking foundational Black man, is envied. People are jealous of him. And most importantly, he is hated. He is very hated on. And not just here in America, just not here in the States, but also across the globe. And it also doesn't even matter what your social status is. It doesn't matter if you're poor, you're middle class, or wealthy. They'll still hate you. Why do you, and I have to go back to the Colin Kaepernick situation. They hated this man because he had an opinion and he wanted to speak out about injustices that was falling upon black people. And you had Palm Colored out there mad as hell because they're saying, well, this guy makes all this money. He plays for an NFL team and he was raised by a white family in the suburbs. What the hell would he know about the struggle? My thing is to them, what would y'all know about the struggle? Y'all wouldn't know a damn thing. At the end of the day, whether he was raised by a white family or not, he was still seen as different. He was still seen as different, and he found that out after, you know, what he did, and I have the feeling that he knew what the backlash would be. Whether he or not he knew how much or how intense it would become, who knows? But I think someone probably pulled him to the side. You do know you're going to catch a lot of flack behind this, and he probably said, yeah, and I'm ready to like deal with that head on. To this day, he's still getting shitted on for what happened 2 or 3 years ago. And he's not even in NFL anymore. And I was like, isn't that what y'all wanted? And y'all are still upset. But again, it goes back to the whole thinking black man being the most envied, hated on individual in the world. Like I said, when it comes to politics, why do you think they never ask black men their opinion about certain situations and stuff like that? Or whenever he gives one, he's always over talked on. Like he never is never able to give his strong opinionated voice on certain things, or and if they do let a black man talk, it's usually some kind of butter biscuit tap dancing sambo that they have up there. I don't have to name any names. Y'all already know who it is or who I'm talking about. And it's not one specific person, because it's a plethora of people who fall into that category because they know that they have them, but they struggle when it comes to us. Why do you think they hate us so much? Because we never, and this is my strong opinion on this, and I might actually be right. We are like the only group of people that never fully integrated into quote unquote American society. You have people who immigrated over here who integrated into American society faster than us. Why do you think they got those set asides? And not only because we did not integrate into American society, but it was impossible for us to do so, because even if we tried, there was always these issues that came up that blocked us from completely doing it. And then they have the nerve to say we have to do this and be moral. And this is coming from the same group of people that moral does not even begin to describe them. I mean, how many videos have I talked about? How many videos have I done over the years and showing that morality does not line up with their system? It just doesn't. That's why it kills me sometimes when some black people say we have to be moral. As a thinking black man, I'm going to sit here and say this wholeheartedly and say, fuck morals. Just fuck that. It's about, as I said, morals is about as real as equality. In my opinion, in this day and age and how everything is going, they're both myths in my eyes. And I'm being dead serious when I say that. It's unfortunate that it has to be that way, but that's just the way it is. But many people will have you to believe that if they make it to a certain point in life, that everything is fine. No, your personal economy is good, but everyone, the rest of us as a collective, it's still an issue. It's still a problem. And it's not our fault. It's all by design. It's all by design. It's unfortunate that it's like that, but one day we will be able to get out of that and pull out of that. And then you have the people that's against reparations and tangibles. And unfortunately, some of the people that's against it look like us, and they are ADOS. Talking about, well, who should and who should not get it. Like, who are you? Like, why are you counting our pockets? Why are you trying to worry about what we have? Look, you get your check or you get your cut, we get our cut, and you do with yours what you want, and we gonna do with ours with what we want, and then we'll meet somewhere maybe in the middle, and I don't know. But you do not have the rule of law to say who gets what, especially when it's not even guaranteed that you're gonna get it. I'm just saying. But you know, I'm gonna end the video off right here. I hope that pretty much people got exactly what I'm saying. Like I said, the thinking foundational black man, one who's able to think critically and logically and put everything together, is heavily feared, hated, and envied. And that's, like I said, not just in America, it's not just in the United States, it's global. Why do you think that so many black men are fighting for a spot to get their voices heard, especially on platforms like YouTube? Because for years we've been told that our voices don't mean a damn thing. Well, let me just tell you right now, it is 2019 and it is a new day. It is a brand new day. And the thinking black man's voice will finally be heard. Loudly and proudly. Y'all let me know what you think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I will talk to you in the next one.